Okay, so welcome to this session of the Relaxing Yoga sponsored by the Fertility Partnership. So if this is your first time coming to one of these sessions, my name is Julie, and sorry, I keep interrupting myself always when people are still coming into the waiting room, and I need to keep hitting admit all. So there we go. Okay. So thank you all for coming to this session this evening. And if this is your first time being here, then there's just a couple things to let you know. And also as a reminder to everyone else that my invitation in these sessions, and really any session, is to just practice kindness toward yourself and toward your body. It's just an hour to relax and to practice compassion and a bit of gratitude. I do have 2 dogs and 2 cats, and every now and then they make appearances, and sometimes they might even make noise, usually the dogs or the cats' bells. If at any point they do make noise, or even if there is some sort of external noise on your end, I just want to invite you to see if you can practice noticing those sounds as vibration. So they're not good or bad, they're just part of the present moment, and that's okay. So, okay, sorry. So the way that these sessions work is we start with a centering and a breathing, and then we move into some warm-up movements, and then we just flow through a different set of postures every week. If you are already a seasoned yogi or yogini, just to be clear, these are pretty chilled out classes, so this isn't going to be any type of power yoga. And sorry, I'm losing the ability to speak tonight. So these classes are for men and women, but they are designed with the idea that any woman currently going through any IVF treatments in particular, these are safe for any stage of the IVF process. So if you've had an embryo transfer or anything like that, this is all fine for that. Which really more than anything just means that we're avoiding certain things. So I've had a few messages from some of you over the last few weeks just asking different questions about what is okay or what isn't okay. And typically, just for anyone who wants to know, things to avoid. So whether in yoga or if you're someone that likes to go to the gym a lot, things to avoid would be core work, so abdominal work, sit-ups, crunches, planks, that kind of thing. Deep twists are something to avoid. Small twists, but again, really small twists, we can do. And inversion. So if you're into your headstands and things like that, which we definitely don't do in here. Okay, let's start. So people keep coming. That's why I keep pausing. Okay. All right. So the first thing, we're going to start with a centering and breathing, and you have a couple options here. You can either sit up nice and tall, either on a block or on the floor, a bolster, or if you prefer, you can lie down. So, and if you lie down, you also have a couple options. So one option for lying down is to bend your knees with your feet on the ground. And that's better if you have lower back sensitivities, okay? Otherwise, you can just let the legs extend and splay, letting everything flop. And it is just about what feels better to you in this moment. It's not that one way is right or another way is wrong or better or worse. Just what feels good to your body right now. Okay. So once you find your centering position, let's just take a few rolls of the shoulders. So we're going to inhale and roll the shoulders up and exhale them down and back. And again. And one more. Just relax the shoulders down. Relax the hands either facing up or down, just whatever feels better to you. Close your eyes. And take a few deep inhales through the nose, with exhales sighing or blowing the air out of the mouth. Just do this a few times. Inhaling calm, exhaling, sighing out, letting go of any stress or any tension. Once you've sighed out a few times, just come back into the natural rhythm of your breath. Notice your breath. Notice where it lands in your body. Throughout this practice, I just want to invite you to notice anything and everything without judgment. There's no need to label something as good or bad, it just is. And then let's begin this practice tonight in an energy of thankfulness or gratitude. So, in your mind, just for the next minute or so, I'd like you to draw into your awareness some of the things for which you are grateful right now. And it can be anything at all, no matter if it is material or immaterial, big or small. Just take a minute. Draw that awareness into your heart. And just create this gratitude list in your mind. What are you grateful for right now? And from here, take that awareness, that gratitude, and bring it back to your breath. Just start to deepen the breath through the nose. Inhale through the nose and take the breath down into the belly so that the belly rises with the inhale. And then exhale out the nose and feel the belly roll back toward the spine. So we inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. And then deepen the breath further. Inhale through the nose, fill up, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale out the nose, chest, ribs, and belly contract. And if you can, come into an ujjayi or an ocean wave sounding breath by constricting in the back of the throat in the epiglottis. So it's as if you're inhaling and exhaling the word home through the nose, just to create that audible wave sound. If you're not familiar with this breath, or if it doesn't feel right to you, that's okay. You can just stay with a normal deep breathing. We're just going to take a minute or two here just to breathe deeply. So see if you can really feel and expand through that inhale and exhale. Just feeling your breath. Take a few more breaths here. And start to mentally ready yourself for movement. And in your own time and in your own way, just start to draw some movement back into your body. Just letting yourself stretch, roll around, yawn, sigh. Just do whatever would feel good to you right now. And then from here, what I'd actually like you to do is we're going to start on hands and knees this evening. So the first thing that I would like you to do is just start to, again, make your way up onto hands and knees. But a couple things to say here. I just want to make sure that I'm going to turn that slightly. Sorry, I'm always trying to check the angle. Okay, something like that. Okay, so when we come up onto hands and knees, if you are using a yoga mat, and you can still do this without a yoga mat, so don't worry if you're not, but if you're using a yoga mat, when we're on hands and knees, one option for you is to put a little fold in the mat and take your knees up onto that fold, and that just supports the bone of your knees against the hard floor, okay? Another option is to fold up a blanket or a towel and put those under, or put that under the knees. So it's just really whatever you need so that you are supporting your knees. It's not about being stronger or fitter or anything like that. It's just about the bone and hard floor. If you're on carpet, you probably won't need to do that, okay? So I'm just moving some lights and microphone and the microphone just to make sure you guys can hear and see as best as possible. Okay, now once you are here, I'd like you to bring your wrists in line with your shoulders and your knees in line with your hips. And then you're going to inhale and roll the shoulders back, open up through the chest. We drop the belly, send the sits bones back. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, tuck the chin in towards your chest and round up into your upper back. So you're coming up through cat. Inhale, arch the spine. And then exhale, round. And again. Take one more. And then inhale, we're going to just come into a neutral tabletop. So knees and hips, wrists and shoulders. And then I want you to just take, so this is what I mean by gentle twists, okay? So it's not that you have to avoid a twisting motion entirely. In fact, you really can't avoid a twisting motion entirely in your daily life. So what we are going to do here is we're going to take the left forearm and bring it down onto the ground behind the right wrist. And then we're just going to turn and look past the right shoulder. That's all we're going to do. So typically, if we wanted to deepen it, we might thread it through, but we're just going to leave it gentle, soft, just a short twist, rather than short, more just like a super gentle twist. And then we take it back up. We place the left hand down, and then we're going to bring the right forearm down, and we turn to look past that left shoulder. And coming into a very gentle twist. And then take it all the way back through center. And then from here, come down onto your forearms. Okay, now I want you to leave your bottom in the air. So we're coming into a puppy pose. So what that means is bottom stays up in the air, but then we're gonna walk the arms out in front, taking the forehead down so that we really get that stretch into the upper back and shoulders there. Just breathe into it. And then roll it all the way back up into that neutral tabletop position. So wrists in line with the shoulders, knees in line with the hips. And then just one last little, actually a couple little last warm-ups here. I want you to roll your bottom back toward your right heel and then swing it around to the other side, up toward the left shoulder, around to the right. And then you're just gonna keep swinging it around and around. Have a little play there. Just starting to wake up the back a bit more. Then go the other way. Okay. Then take it all the way back up through the center. And then you're going to roll your bottom back toward your heels. So you're coming more toward a child's pose, but actually, rather than come all the way down into Garbhasana, what we're going to do is take the hands out wider than the shoulder. So if you are using a mat, take your hands out wider than the edges of your mat. Okay, and then cross your left hand over your right. Let your head relax down between your arms like it's at a massage table. Take a few deep breaths here. And then take your left hand back and then cross your right over your left. So we're just taking that nice long side stretch there. And take it all the way back to center. And just slowly roll your body up so that you can sit up into your shins. Now, if you feel uncomfortable sitting here on your shins, we're not going to stay here long, but if it's uncomfortable, just go ahead and sit with your legs crossed. And then I want you to take the backs of your hands together out in front of you once you find the seated position that works best for you right now. Okay, so again, backs of the hands together, and then just gently roll the fingers in towards you and then up to the sky. So you just take it around and around, letting the wrists be the main actors here, rolling around each other. And keep that going. I'm just gonna adjust the laptop again. Get a little taller, seems to help usually. Okay. And then go the other way. All right, and then gently release. Now, from here, I want you to come back toward, if you were sitting with the legs crossed, come back to this position. where you can then now take the hands out in front of you. And I want you to come up onto your fingertips and then spread your fingers nice and wide against the ground. So you have these two starfish that are suctioning against the mat. Okay, and then we're going to roll up toward the hands, curl the toes under behind, and then send the hips back, roll the shoulders back, and we come back into a downward facing dog. And I just want you to walk out this downward dog by bending one knee and then the other. And just have a walk of that dog there. Okay, and take a few more breaths there. Stretching out through the backs of the legs. And then once you've had a good walk of that dog, I want you to roll the shoulders back, send the hips back, squeeze under your armpits. And we're going to send the heels either onto or toward the floor, feeling that nice long spine there, feeling the stretch into the backs of the legs. Okay, and then inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. And then exhale, bend your right knee and point your right toes toward the left side. So you're turning and opening up that right hip. And then inhale, lift the right leg back up to the sky. And exhale, bend the right knee into the chest. Float that foot forward, or you can help it forward. So do what you need to do to bring that foot so it's coming up between the hands. And then I want you to take the fingertips either side of that right foot. So we've got left hand, right foot, right hand. Belly and chest on the inside of that right leg. Roll the shoulders back. Take an inhale. And then exhale. Draw your left knee down and toe your left leg as far back as it will go. So a little bit of strength in here. If this is your first class, just know that every class is different. Some weeks are gentler, some weeks we throw in a little more strength. The body really needs it all, so we just play. So you do the best you can, and that's it. And if you need to take a break at any point, you take a break. So we're going to push through that right foot, and then we pull up through the core, and we inhale, we lift the arms up into the sky. Sink the shoulders, okay? Draw the palms together, and inhale, lift up into a high namaste. Now, it's really easy to do this where you sort of shoot back here. I want you to do the best you can to keep that right knee in line with the ankle and send that left hip flexor forward. We spend a lot of time working on the hips in these sessions in particular. It's really important when we're looking at things like IVF. So we're going to inhale and lift up. Exhale, send the chest up to the sky, reach the arms back, but it doesn't mean falling. It means lifting up and back. Chin can stay to the chest. That's safest for the neck, or it can drop back if it feels okay. Inhale, lift all the way back up. And then exhale. I want you to take the fingers either side of that right foot again. Curl your left toes under behind you. Take a little knee forward until you can lift it all the way up there onto that left leg. Okay, now take your left hand, spread it out against the ground on that left side, or if you have a sensitive left wrist, make a fist with it. And then you're going to inhale, lift the right arm up to the sky. Just follow that with your gaze. Exhale, take your right hand to your right knee. Turn to square forward. Take your left hand up to that knee, and then we're going to roll the shoulders back, send the heart forward, and we traction up through the spine. Just keep breathing deeply. I know I'm doing a little more strength stuff this week, but just have a play, breathe into it. Okay, now I want you to keep these nice strong legs, but just gently pull back through the arms. And I know I'm headless, but don't worry about it. We're gonna inhale, lift the arms. And then exhale, like you are threading a bow and arrow, you're actually going to take your right arm, send it out over the right leg, And then take the left arm and send it back and turn out through that left heel. So you've got that right knee pointing out in front, right knee in line with the second toe. So pointing toward the second toe. And then that left heel now is somewhere between 45 and 90 degrees. So the sole of the left foot is down. And we take an inhale here in warrior two. Oh, and exhale, release the arms. And then inhale, I want you to roll the shoulders up and exhale them back. So the focus today obviously is some strengthening, and always the hips, but also a bit of the shoulders today, okay? So shoulders are back. And now I want you to interlace your fingers behind your back. So we're still in this pose here, but we're going to turn to face the inside of that right leg. We roll the shoulders back so they're squeezing around the spine, fingers interlaced. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, hinge forward from your hips. Take your right knee down toward your right shoulder or your ankle. So you're coming into a humble warrior. Take a few deep breaths there. Okay. And now I want you to draw the hands back down toward your lower back. Push through that front leg, pull up, nice strong back, lifting up. Take the arms back up into warrior two. Take an inhale, and then exhale. You're going to pivot your arms around, pivot on your back foot, and then we're going to take a big step forward. So we come all the way up into standing. So we bring the feet to a nice hip distance stance, and we're going to take an inhale, lift through the arms, and then exhale and swan dive, hinge forward from your hips. Hang the head, hang the arms. Take a moment just to sigh out there. And give your head a few shakes, yes, and a few shakes, no. And again, yes, yes, yes. And no, no, no. And just let the head hang heavy. Sigh it out. And then bend your knees and take your hands down to the ground. And I just want you to step one foot back and then the other. Draw your knees down. Roll your bottom back toward your heels. Take your forehead down, and again, come into Garbhasana, into a child's pose. Oh, and just sigh that out. And then lift the head, lift the heart. Come back up onto your fingertips out in front of you. So you're going to spread your fingers nice and wide out in front of you. Roll up toward your hands. Curl the toes under. Send your hips back. Roll your shoulders back. Squeeze under your armpits. And then take a brief walk of your dog. Again, bending one knee and then the other, walking it out. And then once you've had a good walk of that downward facing dog, push back into your full expression. So you're going to roll your shoulders back, squeeze under your armpits, and then inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky. And exhale, bend that left knee, point the left toes over to the right side. So you're cocking the leg. Take an inhale here. And then on your next inhale, lift that left leg back up, three-legged dog. And then exhale, bend the left knee into the chest, and then you're going to float that foot forward. So then we bring it up between the hands. So then we've got left hand, left foot, right hand. Roll the shoulders back, open up through the chest. So we come into that runner's lunge. Inhale. Exhale, draw the back knee down. Toe your right leg as far back as it will comfortably go. Okay, and then we pull up through the core. Inhale, swing the arms up into the sky. Draw the palms together above the head. If drawing the palms together doesn't feel okay, you can just lift the arms, sink the shoulders. And then we inhale and we lift. And exhale, send the hips and the pelvis forward. Reach the arms up and back. Whew. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, take the fingertips, bring them back down, either side of your left leg. Toe your right knee in enough that you can then lift back up onto that right foot. And then you're either going to flatten out your right hand against the ground or make a fist with it against the ground. And then we inhale, we lift the left arm up to the sky. Follow that with your gaze. And then exhale, take the left hand onto the left knee, whoops, and then take the right hand also up onto that knee. Roll the shoulders back, open up through the chest, tractioning up through the spine. So try to avoid turning into a sad turtle here, which is when the shoulders come up. We roll the shoulders back, we create that nice long neck. Okay, and then pull up through your core. Swing your arms up into the sky, warrior one. And then exhale, right out into warrior two. So we take that left arm, send it out over the left leg. I'm probably now facing the opposite direction from you, so I'm just going to mirror you here. Okay, so we've got that left knee in line with the ankle, pointing to the second toe. Arms are up. Inhale. Exhale, release the arms down. And now the shoulders up. And then exhale them down and back. Turn to face the inside of that left leg. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Oh, squeeze and draw down. Inhale. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, coming into that humble warrior. Left shoulder coming down toward the left knee or ankle. Take a few deep breaths here. Okay. And then we are going to lift all the way up. Lift up through the arms. Take an inhale. And then exhale. You're going to spin it around. So you are pivoting on that back foot, helicoptering the arms. Okay. And then just like before, you're then going to take a big step forward. Okay. And then once you've come into that big step forward, take an inhale. And exhale, just like before, swan dive. Hinge forward from the hips. Hang the head, hang the arms. Oh, and just sigh out there. Okay. Now, I'd like you to we're just going to play with something, okay? So again, that's all we're ever doing here is playing. So what I'd like you to do is start to wiggle your feet so that the insides of your feet are touching as best you can. Sometimes the feet and the knees are not too happy about that, so if it's a slight gap, it's okay, but just as close as you can. Now, I'm going to show you this a couple times, so if you want to look up and see it first, please do. So what we're going to do now is with the feet together, we're going to bend the knees, and then we're lifting the heels. Okay, so heels are on the ground there, but I'm lifting the heels up, and then I take my hands down, and then I turn the knees out. So I'm sitting back into my heels. So let me also show you that from this angle. So we bend the knees, we lift the heels, taking the fingers down, and then we turn the knees out to the sides. So one last time, just for anyone that might not be there with us yet. So feet together, bend the knees, lift the heels, let the knees go wide, and you come down. Okay, now do the best you can to have the balls of your feet and your heels together. And then I want you to pull up through your core. We're going to come up into this very tricky balancing squat. And just take a few deep breaths here. This is all we're doing. Okay. Take your hands down, unwind your knees, and draw your big toes together behind you. And then sit back in toward your heels. Take a moment to sigh out. Just turn that slightly down. Okay. All right. Now we are going to come into a movement for the iliopsoas for the lower back. So if you are somebody that you really struggle with tension in the lower back, sometimes that can be caused by the iliopsoas muscle. And the iliopsoas muscle is a muscle that runs from the base of your spine. It wraps in front of your hips, so on both sides, wraps in front of the hips, and then connects to the femur or the top of the leg bone. So you can imagine that when that's feeling tight or stressed or strained, we get this pain here, right? And this move that we're going to do now, you'll probably feel it on the inside of the upper leg. But again, this is actually something to help relieve tension in the lower back as well. So what we're going to do is I want you to take your big toes together behind you, just let them be in a little kiss. And then you're going to take your knees out wide, just as wide as you comfortably can, well, suitably can. No, it's not always the most comfortable. Now walk your hands out in front of you. And then the natural inclination is probably to try to lean into the hands, but what I want you to do is actually push your bottom back toward your heels. So with your hands out in front of you, you're pushing your bum back. And as you do that already, you might start to feel a stretch into the upper part of the leg, but you can then take it a little lower, coming onto the forearms. But the lower you go, the more likely you are to sort of lean forward into this. And I want you to avoid that because that typically arches the back. And I want you to just keep it nice and round. And you can even take the forehead down. But again, we're just pushing back, feeling the inside of that upper leg. Okay. And then lift the head, lift the heart. And And just gently draw your knees back in. Take your hands to one side and then unwind your legs, send them out in front of you. Bend your knees and slowly walk yourself down onto your back. Okay. And then once you've come down, just sigh out for a moment. And inhale, lift your arms. Take your arms up into the sky. Okay. And then I want you to bend your elbows, take hold of opposite elbows in opposite hands. Turn slightly so you can see this better. There we go. Okay, so opposite elbows in opposite hands. We take an inhale. And then exhale. Draw your right elbow down toward the right side, letting your left shoulder lift. So we're just stretching that shoulder, opening it out a bit. And then inhale back through center. And exhale over to the other side. And then inhale through center. Reach your hands up into the sky. Interlace all your fingers. And then draw your right knee in toward your chest and interlace your fingers over your right shin. And then I want you to flex that right foot. Okay, so you're pushing out through the sole of the foot. Lift your left leg up into the sky. Flex that foot too. Take an inhale. And then exhale. Draw that left leg straight down. And just feel that left hip flexor starting to open up a bit. And then unwind, and you're going to place the right foot on the ground, and then we're just swapping. So we bend the left knee into the chest, interlace the fingers over the left shin, take the right leg up into the sky, flex that foot, inhale. Exhale, draw that right leg all the way down. Take a couple more breaths here. Unwind. Take the sole of your left foot down, bending that left knee, and then just bend your right leg up to meet your left. And walk your heels up toward your bottom as close as is comfortable. Okay? And keep your feet at a hip distance stance. So they're not right together on this one. There's a gap between them, hip distance. Okay, and toes are squared forward as best as they can be. Some people naturally turn their feet out a little bit, and you don't want to unnaturally turn them forward, but you just want them as naturally pointing forward as you can. And then draw the arms down toward the sides of your body. And you're going to press through your feet. And then inhale, lift the hips, lift the pelvis.
Interlace your fingers under your body and just walk your shoulder blades in. So just like they were in Humble Warrior, your shoulders are hugging your spine and you're going to squeeze and lift up into your bridge, up into Setu Bandhasana. We just take a few deep breaths here. That's all we're going to do here today is just squeeze, lift, breathe. Bridge pose is obviously a strengthener for the back and for the legs, but it's also good for your kidneys, for your adrenal glands, for your thyroid gland. So just take a few more breaths here. Okay. Exhale. Unwind your arms. Unwind your shoulders. Draw the knees in toward your chest. Take the hands to the knees. Sigh out. And then take your hands up to the insides of your feet. And then I want you to dip your knees down towards your armpits and take the soles of your feet up into the sky. So this is a pose that is quite good for anyone who may have had an embryo transfer recently. If it feels like this is too much of a pose, if it's like, oh my God, if it feels too much into the hips, what you can do is you can release the hold on the feet and just hold the shins here. I actually feel, I mean, this is slightly less supported, but it also is a little easier on the hips, I suppose. It doesn't go as deep. So the option, you can always hold the shins and just draw the knees in, or if you can, hold the insides of the feet, dip the knees down towards the armpits, soles of the feet up to the sky. Take a few deep breaths there. Okay. And then gently unwind. Take the soles of your feet down to the ground. And then you have a couple options here. So you can either stay here like this. This is better if you have lower back sensitivities, or you can just extend the legs out, letting them flop and splay, just however feels good to you. And just take a moment to stretch. You're on the ground, just whatever would feel good, just a few little movements, nothing major. Okay. And then you're going to relax your shoulders, relax your arms. Find a comfortable position on the earth. Close your eyes. And just sigh out a few last times. Sorry. And just sigh out as many times as you need. And then once you've sighed out a few times, I just want you to let your natural breath take over. Feel your eyelids become heavy over your eyes.
Feel the back of the head and the backs of the shoulders melting down. Feel your whole body just resting heavily against the ground. And then as you relax here, draw a sense of gratitude into your heart, into your awareness. And take a moment to appreciate the home of this body. That in this body, you are able to interact with the world. Without this body, you would not be here interacting with the world right now. So take a moment just to appreciate the senses of your body, the fact that you can touch and see and hear and smell. That you have this blood and electricity pouring through your body. That you have cells that know how to repair and heal. Because you have healed so many times. If you are alive right now, you have healed from so many injuries and illnesses. And just remember that our focus is how we experience life. And there is no should, there's no way to have to be or that you should be. And it's okay when we experience life in frustration. But likewise, we can often draw ourselves back to gratitude, to remember what we do have right now, to remember the present moment in all of its colors and all of its sensations. So with that in mind, just thank your body for taking you through this day on earth and taking you through every day that preceded it. And then in gratitude, start to deepen your breath. Draw some movement back into your fingers and into your toes. And gently roll to one side. And bring yourself all the way back up to seated. And once you come back up to seated, take your hands into prayer in front of the heart. And Just gently bow, honoring your body, your light, your practice in this earth. And thank you all so much for coming this evening. Sorry, this is my girl who thinks that she's a bit of a guard dog. So sometimes I have to keep her a bit calm when she thinks there's something to be alert about. I hope it's actually Thanksgiving, so I have both American and British citizenship and heritage, and yeah, so it's Thanksgiving in the U.S. today, and which of course is a day that people try to remember to give thanks. So even if you're not American, good day. Any day is a good day to give thanks. So yeah, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day and your week. We will be back here next week, same time, same meeting ID and password, and yeah. So thank you guys so much, and thank you for your messages. Right now, I'm just quickly reading through them. I'm glad you enjoyed it tonight. So yeah, I think sometimes stronger things are good too, even if you know, they're not as strong as maybe some hardcore classes. But yeah. Okay, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, thank you. And yeah, just have an amazing night. And oh, yeah, Zoe said, sorry that you always have to have a black screen back at me. If you guys ever want to show yourselves, you can. There's nothing that says you can't. You do have to keep yourself on mute unless you have a question, just because of the fact that it could pick up a lot of sound from a lot of places. But if you ever want to just show your screen, you're welcome to. We set it up with the Fertility Partnership just such that it was going to be private for anyone that wanted to keep it private, but you don't have to. So that's always up to you. So, okay. All right, I have another class in 12 minutes, so I'm gonna go. But have a really good night and hopefully see you next week.